This tutorial will demonstrate how to re-grease your wheel bearings. For this job you'll need some rags, waterproof grease, and a 17mm open-end wrench. You'll also need a 13mm cone wrench for a front hub and a 15mm cone wrench for a rear hub. When overhauling a hub, you should always replace the ball bearings. Most front hubs need 10 3/16 inch bearings per side, while rear hubs usually need 9 1/4 inch bearings. If you're overhauling the rear hub, you'll need to remove the cassette or freewheel before you begin. Carefully remove any seals that may be protecting the cone and lock nut. With the wheel on its side, slide a cone wrench onto the cone flats and then loosen the left or non-drive side lock nut by turning it counterclockwise against the cone wrench. Completely unthread and remove the cone, spacers, and lock nut, and then slide the axle out from the right side of the hub. Clean all of the old grease off of the axle and cones, and remove all of the bearings from both sides, making sure to count how many you take out. Then completely clean inside both sides of the hub. Carefully inspect both the cones and the inner bearing races. If there is any damage such as pitting, then the cone and/or hub should be replaced. Apply a generous layer of grease to both of the hub's bearing races. Then carefully insert all of the new bearings by pushing them down in the grease. When all of the bearings are installed, there should be about half a bearing space left. Then cover all of the bearings with another layer of grease. And lightly grease the axle threads. Once the bearings are installed on both sides, carefully slide the axle into the hub, making sure all of the bearings stay in place. Thread the left side cone, spacers, and washers all the way on, finger tight. Now lay the wheel back on its side and slide the cone wrench onto the cone flats. Tighten the lock nut clockwise against the cone, and check to make sure there is no play in the hub, and that the wheel spins freely. You may have to loosen the lock nut and repeat the procedure several times before it is correct. Quick release mechanisms tighten the cones slightly, so if you have a quick release axle, you'll have to leave a slight bit of play in the hub. Reinstall any seals, and then put the wheel back on your bike. Finally, check the adjustment again by moving the wheel side to side at the rim. Again, there shouldn't be any play in the wheel, and it should spin smoothly.